Welcome guys back to another video of Premier League predictions. Today we'll be looking at the fixtures. Liverpool have been crowned champions of the Premier League, so we'll be looking at what is left to play and what teams could be playing for what positions. So let's get straight into it. So guys, the first game in the Premier League is Aston Villa versus Wolves. I've done a separate video on this, but I do want to go over this again. So in this game, I'm going to give I think Wolves will win this game because they are the better team and Aston Villa are struggling. So Aston Villa are sitting in the bottom. They are 19th position, but whether Wolves are sitting in 6th. In the last match day, Wolves did have a comfortable 1-0 win against AFC Bournemouth. And looking at Aston Villa's result, they had a 1-1 draw against Aston Villa. So Aston Villa, they look like they're going to go down. I think Wolves have the much better team. This is why I'm going to give the advantage to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and I'm going to give them a stronger 2-0 win in this one. So guys, we'll move on to the next game in the Premier League, which is Watford versus Southampton. This is quite a big game in context for the relegation battle, but Southampton aren't really in the relegation fight. I think they are 10 points off, so we'll take some slipping for Southampton to slip up, but I don't think they will because they are such a good team. Looking at Watford though, they're only 1 point above the drop, above AFC Bournemouth and West Ham, who are still level on points after 31 games. So it'll be very vital for Watford to try and win this game. Looking at Southampton's last game, they did lose to Arsenal 2-0. It was quite convincing win there from Arsenal with Eddie Nketiah and Joseph Willock scoring. But Southampton didn't play that badly. They actually played alright, but they were beaten by the better team. So I guess Ralph Hasenhuttl will take that. But Watford, they did lose 1-0 to Burnley, which isn't very good. Jay Rodriguez scoring in that one. So I think Watford, with their brilliant side, they actually got a decent side. I don't know how they're in relegation zone, but they'll have to pick up their performances and try and win this one. But in this game, I'm going to give Watford a 1-0 win. The next game in the Premier League is Crystal Palace versus Burnley. Again, we've just discussed Burnley as they did beat Watford 1-0. So that was quite a good result for Burnley because in the Premier League table at the moment, Burnley are in 11th, only 1 point behind the likes of Arsenal. So I think Burnley will be thinking if they can get a good run together, maybe, just maybe, they have a push for a higher position in the Premier League. But looking at Crystal Palace, they did lose to the Premier League champions Liverpool, and it was pretty disappointing. They looked very lethargic. Crystal Palace didn't give much fight like they did last season against Liverpool. So Crystal Palace, they are looking very good, but their league position says quite a lot because they are level on points with Burnley. So this could be quite a big game for the two sides, and it could separate them between the top half of the table and the bottom half of the table. I think it's going to be quite a tight game, and which is why I'm going to give Crystal Palace the win. I think they've got lots of quality, and I think they'll win this game 2-1. The next game is Brighton versus Manchester United. Brighton, they have had quite a tough run of games because they played Arsenal, which they did get a result against, but they drew to Leicester. So they have got 4 points out of 2 games they thought they'd get 0 in. So I think Brighton will be quite confident at home against Manchester United because Man United can be shaky sometimes, but they were very confident, Man United, in their last game, and they won 3-0 against Sheffield United. Brighton, as I said, they drew 0-0 in that game. I think United will be quite confident. Anthony Martial would want to get more after earning a hat-trick against Sheffield United. But Man United, they are trying to chase the top 4, but Chelsea are flying away 5 points above them, and United are in 5th, which could be a Champions League place, but we don't know yet. But Man United will try and keep pushing on and try to keep the momentum up. Brighton are still in a relegation battle, sort of a relegation battle. I think a few more points for Brighton, at least 35 to 38 points, I think will secure them Premier League survival. But it'll be a hard game, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in this one. But for me, I think Manchester United will easily win this one, which is why I'm going to give them a 2-0 win. The next game in the Premier League is AFC Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. Again, it has a possibility of being a good game, but I think one team will win this one quite clearly, and I'll give my reasons for that as well. Bournemouth, they are in a relegation scrap, and I really want them to stay up. I like Bournemouth as a team, and I think they're a really good team if they do stay in the Premier League, and I think they have the opportunity to push on, and maybe Eddie Howe can guide them to a mid-place finish next season, but they do have a challenge on their hands, and they have to survive relegation, level on points with West Ham. West Ham have more quality than Bournemouth, so it is looking very bleak for them at the moment. And they did lose 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers, and in that game, Raul Jimenez did score, so it is quite troubling times for them, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And looking at Newcastle, they did draw 1-1 to Aston Villa, and in that game, Dwight Gale scored for them, and Mohamed scored for Aston Villa. So Newcastle, they were trying to try and push on because they did beat Sheffield United 3-0, and they are sitting in 13th. So maybe Newcastle are trying to push for a top place finish, maybe try and push for Europe. Who knows? And I think it will be quite an interesting game to see how it develops. But for this game, I think I'm going to give it to Newcastle. I think they are the better team, so I'm going to give Newcastle a 1-0 win. Next game is Arsenal versus Norwich. We'll be doing a separate video for this one as always, so stick around for that. This is Arsenal's first game at the Emirates Stadium. I'm not going to give a predicted score for it just yet because Arsenal still have to play in the FA Cup, so we'll have to see how that one pans out. So I'm not going to give a predicted score for this yet, but I do expect Arsenal to win this one. Norwich are in the bottom of the table and are struggling quite a lot, but right now I would give it a 3-1 win, but it's not confirmed because Arsenal still have to play in the Cup, and that might affect something, especially if there are any injuries. Next game in the Premier League is Everton versus Leicester, and Leicester haven't played in the FA Cup yet as I'm recording, so I can't really give a perfect one, but we're just going to go off previous Premier League games, so that's how we'll decide this one. Leicester haven't been in the greatest form because they did draw games, and they've drawn quite a lot of games, and it's not looking quite good for Leicester, and they could slip out and Chelsea could catch up on them, but Leicester did draw 0-0 to Brighton, and in the match day before they did draw to Watford 1-1, so they got quite unlucky against Watford, but you can't do much about that. They have to hold on to leads, and Leicester have to try and score some more goals. That will be a big a priority for Leicester going into this game against Everton. In Everton's last game, they did have a slight 1-0 win against Norwich, which leaves Everton 12th in the table. They are trying to chase European football possibly. They are only 2 points behind Arsenal, who are 9th, so they will be trying to look at them as like a place that they could try and target to try and get into European places, because Sheffield United are also slipping up, so maybe it could be an opportunity, but who knows. You can't really say much right now, but Everton will be looking to win this game against Leicester, so I'm going to give it a 2-2 draw in this one. Next game is West Ham versus Chelsea. Again, Chelsea have to play in the FA Cup before this game, but I think Chelsea are in really good form, and I think they will take some good confidence going into this game because they did beat Manchester City 2-1. Obviously, Willian scored a penalty after Fernandinho handball, and then Christian Pulisic did open the scoring before Kevin De Bruyne did level it. So Chelsea would be very, very encouraged with that win, and obviously Timo Werner signing will obviously give them a huge boost. And in the table, Chelsea are only 1 point behind Leicester City, so they are chasing that third position definitely. And obviously if Leicester slip up to Everton and Chelsea do capitalise and win this game, it could be huge for them. But West Ham aren't looking good either. They are in a relegation scrap. They are level on points with Villa and AFC Bournemouth. But looking at West Ham, they did lose 2-0 to Tottenham. Obviously Soucek scoring an own goal, which wasn't really his fault, and Harry Kane scoring as well. I don't see much chance for West Ham in this game because Chelsea look like a really formidable side and could cause a lot of problems going forward in the future. So in this game, I am going to give Chelsea a 2-0 win. The next game is Tottenham versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United have to play Arsenal in the FA Cup, the other North London side, and then they have to play Tottenham, the other side of North London. So Sheffield United will be probably looking at that Arsenal game and trying to win that one. I'm not sure how they'll change the sides up because they're two very good teams and they don't perform to the level, and I think they will get whacked in both of these games. But I'm not going to focus too much on the Arsenal one. I've made a preview for that you can check out in my channel. But in this Tottenham game, Tottenham did have a 2-0 win against West Ham. I have talked about quite a lot about that. Soucek did score an own goal and Harry Kane did score for them, which leads Tottenham's in 7th, 4 points behind Wolves in European qualification spot, and again another 4 points behind Manchester United, who are also in the Europa League spot. That could be a Champions League spot. We don't really know about it, but I think Sheffield United are struggling, as I said earlier, so I'm going to give Tottenham a 3-1 win in this one. I think Sheffield United will concede another 3 goals, but we have to see about that when we get into the matches. Last game is Manchester City versus Liverpool. Liverpool have been crowned champions and will receive a guard of honour at the Etihad Stadium. No bigger deal than this, and it's going to be a huge game for Liverpool, and I will be doing a preview for this game, a separate video, because I think it needs a separate video. It's a huge game in the Premier League, and I'll be doing it after Manchester City play the FA Cup tie against Newcastle, which there is an FA Cup prediction video you can check out as well. So I'll be doing the prediction for that later. So, but still think this is going to be a huge game, and I think Liverpool might win this one. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe and share the content. Leave some feedback in the comment section below. See you guys in the next one.